Hi, this is George with NS345, and I'm going to show you how to configure Pro Tools 12 with Kontakt multi-outputs and how to record the audio using the multi-output option. This applies to, I believe, Pro Tools 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I'm just going to go to town. I'm going to create a new track. This is going to be my instrument track. So it's a little background. A lot of people are still having problems years later on routing the outputs of the Kontakt player, into the inputs of Pro Tools because they don't show up. So I'm just going to go through the process. So I created a new instrument track. I'm going to throw multi-channel plugin, Kontakt 5. Okay, so when you first put instantiate a Kontakt plugin here, the first thing you're going to see is an empty box. Then if you click on well, let's not do output yet. Let's just put some instruments in here. I'm going to put a piano. I'm going to put a bass. I don't know what kind of bass. Let's see, just any bass. Pick one. Deep bass, let's do that. I don't know what that sounds like. Then I'm going to do an organ. Just a basic gospel organ. Then I'm going to do a studio drummer drum kit. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click this circle. Now I can see all of the tracks. All right. Now before we move further, let's click on output. Now you have these aux 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't worry about those. If you play anything here, it's going to play through here. So let's route the MIDI channel input of each instrument. So for each instrument, and it looks like it's already set up. Let me fix the. Okay, so MIDI channel 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes you have to do that manually. Don't worry about the output just yet. Let's get some MIDI recorded. Or should I? Don't worry about the output just yet. Let's set up the. Well, we can come back to the outputs. We're going to come back to the outputs. Don't worry about the outputs just yet. Don't worry about the outputs just yet. We're going to record some MIDI and then we'll come back to set up the outputs. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 different instruments, or do I have 5? No, 4. Okay, 4. Close this. The one thing you want to make sure of is that this one says none, because this is just the track that's going to hold your Kontakt plugin. Now let's create 4 stereo instrument tracks. All right. Let's just name them piano, bass, organ, drums. So we know what we're doing. Now we're gonna, on the instrument section of the track, we're gonna select Kontakt channel 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're not gonna touch the inputs here. Now let's get some MIDI recorded. If I click on that, modifier. Now I have no audio. Would you know that? What do you know? 256. Okay, there we go. I'm not sure if that's going to get recorded. Okay. 2. Okay. Now, I'm going to take that off record, and I'm going to add the bass. 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we got a bass. Shall we cheat? Just a little. Okay. Now let me do drums. Whatever. Okay, let's get an organ going. Okay, so that's enough MIDI. Whatever. Okay, I'm gonna delete the click track. Okay, now we have our MIDI recorded. Okay, now I'm gonna create 4 audio tracks, 4 stereo. Create. Now I'm gonna go to the first one, and what I want to do is I want to route the piano to this audio track, so I can do my processing or I can bounce them, so I'm no longer using Kontakt, and I could save some CPU power. So you'll have 3 options: interface, bus and plugin, and you'll see Kontakt there, but only 4 are listed there. Okay, same thing there. You could try, look around. Okay, so how do I get the multi-outputs to show? All right, what we're going to do now is go back into Kontakt. Now, this is what it would look like. You bring up the outputs. We're going to add, in this case, we're just going to add 4 channels. 3, 4. Make sure these are stereo, so use number 2. Click OK. Now there's no assignment on these. So we have 1, 2, stereo 3. So let me just name it the same as this, stereo 1. Okay. All right. Now, if you click on this box here, you'll see that 1 and 2 are assigned to number 1 and 2. Okay. Now I'm going to go to this one, and I'm going to select the following one. And if you notice, it'll give you the numbers here, 3 and 4 in this sequence. For changes to become effective, please close and reopen your session. So we're going to do that in just a bit. But let's route these first. Now I'm using aux2. See, the number is different, so you just got to pay attention to that. Just kind of go in order, sequential order. I don't like the fact that you have to do all this just to get this working, but it's just the way it is right now. Okay, so now I've set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stereo tracks within Kontakt. Each one is routed to a different destination. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now we're going to go into the outputs here. And we're going to say save current output section state as default for. Just use all formats. Now we're going to save it, give it a name, save output section preset as test for my YouTube friends. This is just saving this particular setup, okay? The way this is configured, now you have it saved. I have different setups here that I was messing around with, but I'm using test for my YouTube friends, okay? So now we're going to talk about the outputs. I'm going to close this. Well, before I do that, if I hit you'll see nothing is coming through. You'll see that nothing is coming through. Now we're going to route the outputs. Okay, output 1, it's going to, we're going to route it to 3 and 4. And I'll explain why, because by default, it will not allow you to route an input when we go into the tracks to 1 and 2. So we want to use 3 and 4. Output stereo 2, output 3, 4, output 5, 6, output 7, 8, and output 9, 10. Pay attention. Stereo 2, 3, 4, stereo 3, 5, 6, stereo 4, 7, 8, stereo 5, 9, 10. Okay? Now, I'm going to close this. Test again. Nothing's happening. Okay, that's a good sign actually. So if we go to output, we can see that there's audio there. It's just not going anywhere. So you got your 2 bars. So you should see audio in 4 tracks, but I'm not seeing it. So let's just double check. The piano should be on 3, 4. Okay. So now you see the audio here, but there's nothing coming out. Okay, now let's just route it in Pro Tools. That would be the easy thing, right? So I'm going to go to audio here, plugin Kontakt. Well, guess what? It's not there. All right, not to worry, Grasshopper. So now we just have to close Pro Tools. And I'm just going to quit Pro Tools. Okay, it's closing. I'm going to reopen Pro Tools. Okay. Still no audio. There's audio there. It's a good sign. Close this. Go to the input plugin, and there they are. I'm going to go to 2 and just sequentially 3, 4, and then my stereo channel 5. Now I'm going to record, enable them. And actually, if you just want to listen to your audio, I'm on Pro Tools 12, so I have the input, track input monitoring section now. So if I wanted to listen to that, I can do that. But I want to print the actual MIDI, or I want to convert the MIDI to audio. That's one of the reasons why this multi-output thing is so important. If you're on Pro Tools 9, 10, 11, you will go to, I believe it's track or one of these here, and you will go to input monitoring only so you could hear. Okay. Now, you can also put the audio here, plugin, 2, 3, 4, 5, so you can monitor it. And actually, you can now go and put a plugin here. Let's just say, okay, but I don't want to do that because as I start adding more VIs, my system usage will increase, and I don't want that. So I want to print the tracks now. Okay, but I don't want the audio in here and here, because right now I have the audio going in here and going in here. If I was just monitoring, I would leave it here, but I'm going to take it off. No input, no input, no input, no input. Okay, good. Now I'm going to set these to record. 4 tracks. And I'm going to click the input monitoring option so I can hear the audio. Okay, it's not recording yet. Looks like audio 4 is probably a bit too hot. And actually, that's not going to be there. That's going to be here. I don't want anything clipping, so I'm fixing the levels here. Bass is too loud. Let me bring that down a little bit. Organ is too loud, so let me bring that down a little bit. Well, let me just set those back to normal. You can worry about you need to get your audio good into here. Just make sure it's not clipping. Then you can mix it. As long as nothing's clipping. Okay, that's good. So let's just go here, and I'm going to hit record. Okay, now I've printed my tracks. I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to take the record off. Now if I just want to hear this, I'm going to solo that. Now everything's printed. Now I'm going to select all of my MIDI tracks, and I'm just going to hide and make inactive. Do the same for this one. Okay. I know some people are gonna have some questions about this. Let me know. There's also a if you are using Studio Drummer and you wanted to break down the snare, the kick, toms, and you wanted to separate each part of the kit into different tracks, you do the same thing, but you're gonna have to have your own track just for Studio Drummer. Um, Otherwise, you're gonna have to maybe set up 16 and go in there and split them up. But I would just set up a different one for that. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.